Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Danganronpa. We're going to visit Toko, who's gone nuts. And I cooked up some ideas when I finished that last episode. Started thinking about why Toko's nuts. It must have something to do with Chihiro's murder. Like, I don't believe for a second that the sight of blood could send her in such a state. She could be the murderer, possibly. That's something I kept in the back of my mind. Yeah, Byakuya is clearly in cahoots with Monokuma. He has him at his whim. Maybe he wants to have fun. Maybe he's enjoying all the killing. All that time he spent in the library, that could have been the opportunity he took. It's curious how the Byakuya centers on Genocide Jack. Maybe that's his coping mechanism. Maybe he's actually really distraught on the inside. I don't know. Up to 2 people can be murdered, so that would leave someone open to be targeted. And if this is a serial murder, who would be targeted, right? Oh yeah, the dumbbell was the murder weapon, right? So, who would be strong enough to wield that dumbbell and have enough strength to actually murder Chihiro? I can only think of 2 people, Sakura and Mondo, because they're both pretty ripped, and I guess Kiyotaka, because from what we saw in the sauna, he was pretty ripped as well. We do know that Chihiro doesn't want to work out alone, and she would have needed, like, a spotter of some sort. Sakura and Hina exercise during the day, so the prime target there would be Mondo. And we know Mondo is kind of soft towards Chihiro, so maybe they were working out together, and then maybe Toko murdered Chihiro. I don't know, man. I don't know. It requires some more clarification. Aoi, what do you want? You guys are too slow. I think you're just too fast. So, what's this emergency? Well, after what happened in the girls' locker room, we left Toko in her room so she could lay down. After a while, we came back to check on her. You know, see how she was doing. But when we did, it was weird. She refused to come out, and she kept saying all this weird stuff. Weird stuff?
That's fine.
We should try talking to her ourselves. Yeah, good idea. You have anything you need to say? Hurry up and do it. Okay. I may as well give it a shot. The door swung open, slowly and silently. You look good. Holy crap! An aura of negativity flowed out from behind the door, forcing a gasp out of me.
What? Oh, nothing. It's just that, Hina was really worried about you, holding yourself up in your room.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, sure thing. But, could you open up, just for a second?
I gotta hand it to Makoto, he's handling this quite well. He's being very gentle.
Won't allow it.
Huh?
Won't let Genocide Jack have control.
Okay, so maybe the Genocide Jack myth is something made up by Monokuma to spice up this investigation. And I think Toko has been kind of paranoid before. She's shown that kind of behavior. So maybe she's probably psychologically fragile at the moment. But why mention Genocide Jack? And just like that, she slammed the door in my face. What was that? She's been acting like that the whole time. When I rang a little while ago. I'll drive out the killer. Drive out the murderous fiend. It doesn't make any sense, right? I was afraid to leave her in there alone, so I tried to bust down her door. But it felt like something was holding it shut on the other side. I couldn't even budge it. Toko was scared enough to even bar her door. Does she think the same thing as Byakuya? Does she think the serial killer Genocide Jack really murdered Chihiro? Is that why Toko's so scared?
But...
Whatever it is, I'm really worried about her. Isn't there anyone who might not, or might be able to persuade her? Just give me a second. I'm like mulling these thoughts over in my head. The first thing that comes to mind is that this Genocide Jack character possessed Toko, and maybe she murdered Chihiro. Maybe. I'm not saying that's definite, but Toko and Mondo are the prime suspects in my mind. Hey, Byakuya, you think you could ask her? To come out of her room, I mean.
That's fine.
Sure, whatever. You're gonna talk to her, Byakuya? Wow, I guess you can be nice when you want to. Byakuya stood in front of her door, not making a sound, and pressed the doorbell. After a few moments... Yeah, because we had that romantic subplot there.
What do you want?
Leave me alone. You're all so annoying. Blackula. Nice.
It's Byakuya.
I'm sorry. I couldn't keep our promise. But don't worry. Never again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control ever again. And with that, the door slammed shut. Even Byakuya couldn't pull it off. There's nothing else we can do. Let's just get back to the investigation. Hold on! Hey, Byakuya, what was Toko talking about just now? Something about a promise?
What?
Oh, I have no idea. Another one of her delusions, I'm sure. But...
Stop talking.
If I say I don't know, that means I don't know. Just let Hina take care of her. Oh, yeah, okay. I'll stay here and keep an eye on her.
Let's go.
Well then. Without waiting for a reply, Byakuya sped away. Byakuya! And I hurried to catch up. I tried to talk to him several times as we walked, but he didn't even look back, let alone say anything. He just kept on walking toward his destination. Finally, his feet brought him to a stop in front of a certain room. The library? Come on, let's go in. Is this your inner sanctum? The place where you do all your thinking? Perhaps the place where Monokuma contacted you and you made a deal with the devil. I'm probably extrapolating at this point. Is the evidence that proves it was Genocide Jack really in the library?
Don't make me repeat myself.
Cool. Archives. If I remember, on the other side of this door... It's the archive, right? Hurry up and go inside. Oh, here?
Let's go.
It'll all make sense when once you're inside. Whoa! There's so many books and files. And so much dust, too.
So, in other words...
I would say there's enough value in this place to endure the dust. There's a wooden box. It's empty. Although, judging by the smudges in the dust, it looks like there's something inside. That looks like a mushroom or a face of some sort. I wonder what it was. There was an extension cord plugged in there. It proved very useful, was it, while I was in the library. An extension cord, huh? This shelf is stuffed tight with files. Without really thinking about it, I picked one at random. Ah, you have a sharp eye indeed to select that file. Huh?
That's right.
That's the report on a presidential assassination. The original is kept at the National Library. It won't be declassified for another 30 years. Are you sure you want to look at it now? There's no telling whose crosshairs you might wind up in for peeking at it. Without making a sound, I returned the file to the shelf. There's another... Oh, there's a lamp here. It's a desk lamp. Oh yeah, it's the same one I saw Byakuya using in the library before.
What?
Do you have a problem with that lamp? It was here before, then I moved it over there. It's too dark over there, so I thought I'd put it to good use. This one. There's so many files stuffed onto the shelf. What's in all these things?
That's enough.
Those documents are dangerous. Dangerous? They detail all the people who control the world from behind the scenes. Dangerous truth for a commoner. You mean, like members of the Diet or something? No, I mean the ones with real power. The secret council controlling everything from the shadows. If you're ready to be disappeared for it, take a look. There are some very interesting people in there. You're just kidding, right? Am I? I'll just let it go for now. Oh boy, the Illuminati— what the hell? I thought that was a different person, but it turns out it was his shadow. Or is it? I can't turn that way. Ah! Nah, it seems like that's it. There's a ton of thick files stuffed onto the bookshelf. If you're thinking of looking through any of them, let me give you a little warning. Those things are filled with graphic, disturbing photos from all kinds of crime scenes. It's the kind of thing any normal person wouldn't ever want to look at. Be careful. What do you mean? All those files there are investigation reports related to different cold cases. Those are internal documents, for police eyes only. They're not the kind of thing you'd expect to leak. Oh? So, are you finally beginning to understand the true splendor of this library? The entire reason I was interested in the library is because of this room right here. It's home to classified government documents, police records, things no ordinary person would ever see. Isn't it magnificent? This can't be for real, right?
Such ignorance.
That's your guys' problem. Anything that doesn't fit into your preconceived reality, you label it as a lie. Well, it's not that. It's just... it's not like I totally refuse to believe it, but... I mean, there's just so much. How could anyone have put all this together? I suppose it goes to show just how much power Hope's Peak truly wields. Or perhaps... the mastermind may have wanted to provide us with enough entertainment to keep us from getting bored. It's no use. I can't keep up with all this. It's just too unreal. What's wrong? You still can't believe it? What about you? How can you believe it so easily? Things like that are usually impossible.
What?
What do you mean, usually? Usual? Normal? Ordinary? Simple? Those things don't exist anywhere in the real world. If you don't understand what they actually represent, you don't understand the nature of anything. You don't pull your punches, do you? Besides, what you consider usual is based on your common sense, right? But what makes you think your own common sense applies to me at all? The documents gathered here are genuine. I have reviewed them multiple times, so there is no doubt. Hold on a second. You're saying you've read all these documents and more than once? But all this has to be like top secret confidential stuff, right? So why... My family has a reading room just like this at our home. Ours is bigger, of course, and not as dusty. Huh? Members of the Togami family have access to any variety of government-related documents. That includes foreign powers as well as domestic. How is that possible?
So, in other words...
I already told you, there's a secret council that controls the world from the shadows. My family is a member of that council. And I have within me the bloodline that will allow me to one day bend the world to my will. But to become such a ruler, I must know all levels of this world backwards and forwards. So whenever I have time, I like to review whatever documents and materials that interest me. Which is why I can proclaim, without a doubt, that the materials gathered here are the real thing. This is beyond believing or not believing. Byakuya is actually starting to scare me more than the actual mastermind. And what always interested me the most were the cold case police investigation reports. Reading through those reports has always been a hobby of mine, ever since I was little. It's excellent mental exercise. I've solved more than a few of those cases just by reviewing the reports. And among all those reports, one of my recent favorites is the Genocide Jack case. As he talked, Byakuya grabbed a specific file from the shelf.
That's right.
This is the complete case file. Every single report surrounding the Genocide Jack cases has been compiled in here. Because there are so many, allow me to quickly summarize the main points. To begin, there are two notable characteristics in every Genocide Jack murder. The first characteristic is that at every crime scene, the word bloodlust is written in the victim's own blood. And the second is that when the victims are murdered, their bodies are suspended in a certain way. Bloodlust is written in blood, and the victim's body is suspended. It's exactly the same as what happened to Chihiro. Save your surprise. The best part is yet to come. For the second characteristic, where the victims are suspended, the only ones who knew about that particular fact were the members of the police and other higher-ups. By all accounts, nobody in the media ever found out. Huh? In other words, no one on the news, no one online, nobody knew about that aspect of each crime. Only key officials and the killer himself knew about this act of mounting the victim. Now, if you recall Chihiro's corpse, her body was most certainly mounted in this fashion. So, how could the killer have known about suspending the victim?
That's right.
That's the key question. But in fact, the answer is quite simple.
So in other words...
The culprit isn't a copycat killer. It's the real Genocide Jack.
In other words...
That right there is the evidence that Genocide Jack has hidden himself among the rest of us. Then, Genocide Jack really is... such a brutal, fiendish killer really is walking around among us?
Interesting.
Things are really starting to get interesting, aren't they? I never imagined a killer with such a reputation would ever become part of our little game. Now, don't you think it would be good for you to take a look at what I've already seen? You might just manage to ferret out a clue or two.
Such ignorance.
If you get down on your knees and beg, I might even show you myself. So I was on the Danganronpa 2 Steam store page just, you know, to see the reviews and like to see if there were Steam achievements and such. And one of the screenshots was a character from this game. I couldn't believe it. Like, you're essentially spoiling this game and the outcome of this game and who lives and who dies. And this character had their name on the side, on the left, and their appearance was different from this game. But I was still so surprised that Spike Chunsoft or the publishers would just blatantly put that on the store page. So yeah, I know that that character lives throughout this game. Which is unfortunate, but you know, I can live with it. That's the extension cord from the... Can I... I probably shouldn't. Let's look at the files again.
That's right.
Presidential assassination won't be declassified, no telling who's crosshairs. The Illuminati. For now, I think I'd rather not. Okay, that's the camera, right? There's even a surveillance camera here. Thick files, investigation reports, internal documents, graphic disturbing photos. Byakuya, about that Genocide Jack case file, could you let me see it?
That's fine.
Well, you didn't beg, but I guess it's okay this time. Feel free to look at it in here, but you can't take it with you. Byakuya handed me the file, and I flipped through it with tense, nervous fingers. Suddenly my hand stopped. I had reached the page where photos from the scene of each crime had all been collected. The names of Genocide Jack's victims ran on for several pages. Ken Harada, 32, Tetsuhiro Honda, 17, Shoji Gaku, 23, Kano Issei, 14, Takeshi Yoshida, 30. So the youngest here is 14, the oldest here is 32, so clearly age isn't really a problem. But the common murder weapon is scissors. The murder weapon in Chihiro's case was a dumbbell. And Chihiro's body didn't appear to have stab wounds on it. So it might have been a copycat killer. Komatsuna Taro, Takafumi Gono, Uchida Naohisa, Takeshi Masamune, Yuto Yumejima. There's no end to it. But one thing became perfectly clear as I read. All of the killer's countless victims were killed and suspended in exactly the same way. And at the scene of every murder, the word bloodlust was left in the victim's own blood. Now take a look at the next page, and you'll find another interesting tidbit. The next page? Profiling results? All of the crimes took place either on weekdays at night, or during holidays, either day or night. The most common time for the killings to take place was on holidays in the afternoon. Based on these facts, it could be suggested that the suspect may be a student. Evidence suggests that the suspect lingered at the scene, but when they did leave, they were in a panic. Because an eyewitness has never come forward, it's unlikely there was any external reason for this. This confused behavior suggests the suspect may potentially suffer from dissociative identity disorder. They're really pushing for Toko being the murderer. Like, it was in the back of my mind. I had like unbiased thoughts about it. I was just using the evidence I had previously, but they're really pushing for it. Unless it's a different person with a dissociative identity disorder.
So, in other words,
the key point here is that the culprit may well have a split personality. Now see, that might explain why Toko went nuts upon seeing Chihiro's body. She was trying to regain her persona. A split personality? Like the kind of thing you see on TV? So I'm part of another totally unbelievable story. But this one is way more unbelievable than anything else up until now. Or maybe it really isn't. I don't know, I feel like my mind has gone numb.
let's go.
Alright, we should get going soon. Huh? Where are we going? Anywhere but here. We finished our business here, haven't we? Wait, Byakuya! As usual, Byakuya turned and left without another word. I hurried out of the library to catch up. Well, this is where we part ways. I have some things I need to take care of before the class trial. Just all of a sudden like that?
I don't have time to play with you.
Come on, enough of your annoying misapprehensions. Did you really think we'd be together the whole time? Take responsibility for yourself and do something useful. Move the investigation forward on your own.
Goodbye.
And just like that, he was gone. Just as quickly as he'd asked me to join him, he'd cut me off. In the end, I felt like I was just some plaything getting tossed around. At the same time, I'd uncovered some really important clues thanks to him. Genocide Jack. He's the one that killed Chihiro. And that murderous fiend is one of us. But who is it? I have to find that out, no matter what it takes. And to do that, there's somewhere I have to go investigate one more time. I have to go back to the crime scene, the girls' locker room. I should check the boys' locker room too. And the others might have come up with some info I might find useful while I'm at it. I need to find out everything I can. You and I think very much alike. We need to investigate that body and confirm that there aren't multiple stab wounds. Because if there are stab wounds, then the murder weapon was most likely... Oh my god, hi, how you doing? Hifumi has discovered evidence revealing the identity of the culprit.
I feel as if...
Another stat increase for me. Evidence? What did you find? I cannot reveal that just yet. But I guarantee that what I found will steal the killer's breath from his lungs. Are you sure about that? Oh yeah, Miss Ludenberg said she'd witnessed something worthwhile too. Really? What did she see?
Well, it would seem...
She refused to tell me. It's like when a girl bullies the boy she likes, right? Right? Okay, so where is Celeste now? The warehouse by the dorms. She was there, but at the same time, not there. What's it gonna be? Now, to be fair... Am I gonna need a keycard to get back in here? Oh no, all doors are open during investigations, right? Gotcha. Now, considering the distinct personalities of all these people, they could have all had multiple personalities, right? That's something that's perfectly valid. I could feel the... okay. You're gonna investigate the body? Like, my god. Kyoko, I haven't talked to you yet. Hey, Kyoko, have you made any progress on your investigation?
Indeed.
Generally speaking.
However...
But I have to get going. I have something unrelated to take care of. Something besides the investigation? What is it?
Well...
Nothing you need to worry about. Just concentrate on the murder. But...
So then...
Before I go, let me give you one piece of advice. You should examine Chihiro's body one more time. Thoroughly. Also, her handbook is missing. You might want to determine its whereabouts.
Goodbye.
That's it. I'll be praying for your success. With that, Kyoko turned and left the girls' locker room. Guess I'll take another look at the body then. And Chihiro's handbook is missing. That's definitely worth worrying about. Nice. Okay, so it's evident that Kyoko is really trying to help Makoto. Makoto in particular, she's trying to help. And Byakuya has access to information that he really shouldn't have access to. And that archive room seemed like it was specifically built for him. I wonder if that was Monokuma just, you know, playing around, giving him an advantage. I don't know. Let's check the body. Kyoko said I should examine the body one more time. I know she said thoroughly, but I do have my limits. Well, I better give it a shot anyway. Let's see. Chihiro's hands are bound with what looks like some kind of rope. The rope was used to prop her up in the kind of crucifix position. Huh? This rope has a plug? Okay, well, I know where that came from. Wait, so then this isn't a rope at all. But the more I think about it, the more that's not the only thing that concerns me. Chihiro's fatal injury was a blow to the head, which means someone struck her in the head in order to kill her. Thank you very much. That's right. There's the issue of her being suspended, and the fatal blow. At first I didn't see any reason to think too much about either of them. But seeing them again after looking through the Genocide Jack file, something's not quite right. What does all this mean? Well, the one thing most likely to tie all these mysteries together is the true nature of the rope that was used to suspend Chihiro. And to figure that out, there's a certain place I need to revisit and look over again. Plus, it might help to look at the Genocide Jack case file one more time. Are you leading me in a certain direction? Or do I have time to talk to other people first? Okay. Because, you know, that looks like a heavy dumbbell. And I'm looking at you two. So, you know. Alright, so it's almost half an hour. I think I should stop it there. Thank you very much for watching. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc is available on Steam and Vita for $30. The sequel, Goodbye Despair, is also available on Steam for $30. I highly recommend taking caution as you browse those store pages, as the screenshots might contain spoilers for the first game. But yeah, I'm not salty or anything. Like, I'm usually very lax about spoilers. I think it's more about the journey and not about the ending. So, you know, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Toodaloo!